Jalapeno Bagels by Natasha Wing, illustrated by Robert Casilla. This book is recommended for pre-K through 3rd grade, ages 4 through 8. What should I bring to school on Monday for International Day? I asked my mother. My teacher told us to bring something from our culture. You can bring a treat from the Pan de Dia, she suggests. Pan de Dia is what Mama calls our bakery. Help us bake on Sunday, then you can pick out whatever you want. It's a deal, I tell her. I like helping at the bakery. It's warm there and everything smells so good. Pretend it were International Day at your school. What treat would you take? Early Sunday morning, when it is still dark, my mother wakes me up. Pablo, it's time to go to work, she says. We walk down the street to the bakery. My father turns on the lights, my mother turns on the oven. She gets out the pans and ingredients for pan dulce. Pan dulce is a Mexican sweetbread. I help my mother mix and knead the dough. She shapes rolls and loaves of bread and slides them into the oven. People tell her she makes the best pan dulce in town. Maybe I'll bring pan dulce to school, I tell her. Here we see the word bakery. Do you remember what Pablo's mama called the bakery before? Next, we make empanadas de calabaza, pumpkin turnovers. I'm in charge of spooning the pumpkin filling. Mama folds the dough in half and presses the edges with a fork. She bakes them until they're flaky and golden brown. Some customers come to our bakery just for her turnovers. Maybe I'll make empanadas de calabaza instead. You'll figure it out, she says. Ready to make chongo bars? Chongo means monkey man. Mama let me pour in the chocolate chips and nuts. When she's not looking, I pour in more chocolate chips. I could bring chongo bars. They're my favorite dessert. Mine too, says Mama. This batch could be especially good. I put in extra chips. My father calls from the back room. Pablo, come help me with the bagels. Papa speaks English and Yiddish. He learned Yiddish from his family in New York City. I know some words too. Bubby means grandmother. He uses my Bubby's recipe to make the bagels. First, he makes the dough in a big metal bowl. Then he rolls out into long rope shapes. He cuts off the pieces and shows me how to connect the ends in a circle. We put the circles on trays where they sit and rise. Do you have any special recipes that you've learned from your grandmother? While we were waiting, my father makes challah, Jewish braided bread. He let me practice braiding challah dough at our other counter. It's a lot like braiding hair. The customers say it's almost too beautiful to eat. Maybe I'll bring in a loaf of challah to school, I tell Papa. He smiles. When the bagel dough has risen, he boils the bagels in a huge pot of water. He fishes them out with a long slotted spoon. I sprinkle on poppy seeds and sesame seeds, and then they go in the oven. Maybe I could bring sesame seed bagels with cream cheese. No lox. Lox is smoked salmon. My father's favorite bagel is pumpernickel with a smear of cream cheese and lox. I crinkle my nose. Lox tastes like fish. Jam is better. My mother joins us and helps my father make another batch of bagels, jalapeno bagels. My parents use their own special recipe. While Papa kneads the dough, Mama chops the jalapeno chiles. She tosses them into the dough and adds dried red peppers. We roll, cut, make circles, and let them rise. I can't wait until they're done because I'm getting hungry. At this point, Pablo and his family have made 2 kinds of bagels. Do you know what the difference is between the 2 bagels? Have you decided what you're going to bring to school? Asks Mama. It's hard to choose. Everything is so good, I tell her. I look at Papa, except for lox. You should decide before we open, warns Mama, or else our customers will buy up everything. I walk past all the sweetbreads, chongo bars, and bagels. I think about my mother and my father and all the things they make in the bakery. How many baked goods were made by Pablo and his family? And suddenly I know exactly what I'm going to bring. Jalapeno bagels, I tell my parents, and I'll spread them with cream cheese and jam. Why jalapeno bagels? Asked Papa. Because they are a mixture of both of you, just like me. Now it's your turn. In the back of this book, it shows 2 recipes that Pablo and his family made: the chonga bars and the jalapeno bagels. While you're at home, why don't you go ahead and make your own recipe index card? You could maybe even ask those that are at home with you if they would like to make the recipe.